Welcome back to the Loan Officer Success Partner, and this week we're going to do an LO spotlight on Chastity Dyer with Guild Mortgage over in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Chastity, great to have you here today.
Devin, thank you so much. I am very excited about this, so thank you. I'm very, very grateful.
I'm excited too. We got a chance to meet each other on the Redder Morning Show, and if you guys haven't tuned into that, go check it out. Scott Hudspeth with Redder is just doing some great things over there. Always great guest. And that's where I get to meet amazing people like Chastity here. And we're going to hear a little bit about her story today because I know, Chastity, you're here in the mortgage space with me. And where are you from originally? Let's let the audience know a little bit about you.
Okay. Well, I am a born and raised Albuquerque, New Mexican, and that's where I'm currently living and doing my business. And like I was telling Devin, I absolutely love our state. I love being a New Mexican. I'm super proud of it. And we're doing some great things in the real estate here as well. So yay.
You sure are. And you're representing well because I see some of that New Mexico architecture in the background. I see the earrings.
Oh, yeah. I'm representing for the 505. You know it.
Let's go West Side, baby. West Side, Central West Side. So basically, what I'd love to know a little bit about, did you just wake up one day as a little girl and say, I want to be a loan officer? Is that how you got over here?
Yeah, no, I wish that was the case. I'd be in a whole different position right now in my 45th year. No, that's not how it happened at all. It actually kind of was one of those things that came to me that I had no idea was going to, and it was an opportunity given. A very dear friend of mine helped me get into the business, and I kind of jumped off a cliff, quit my job, and studied for my test. I passed my test, and I showed up at my company until they gave me a job, and here I am. 10 years later.
I like it. Well, what were you doing before? What was the previous path?
Well, my what I raised my daughter on was as a single mom was being a hairdresser. So my mom was a hairdresser. I was a hairdresser for 15 years. That was my trade. And my daughter is now a hairdresser, so we're like a generational hairdressing family. And when I had quit my job, I was actually just doing admin work. I had moved to California and I came back, and so I just was in a dead end kind of place. Great company, but just knew that I wasn't going to make it very far.
Wasn't it? Yeah, no advancement, and you didn't want to go back to cutting hair?
No, because it's just like starting from scratch. You have your clientele, you leave it. I just didn't have it in me. And so, I really believe that an Earth Angel helped me, at least a few of them, to get to where I'm at in 10 years in this business. And I'm just so grateful. Real estate and mortgage, has changed my life for sure.
That's awesome. So what was that, kind of tipping point where you said, man, real estate, loan origination, this is where I need to be? Like, how did you find the space?
Well, I have a childhood friend that was in the industry, and I was kind of telling him and sharing my struggles. And I think I had shared this with you, Devin, that, I was just kind of telling him where I felt like, I just couldn't afford my life and I just was in this stuck place. And so he gave me a hand up and he said, pay your bills, get a real estate license, get a mortgage license, but change your life, And I thought really long and hard about it. And I thought, do I want to be a realtor? Do I want to do the mortgage side? So I just decided to jump off that cliff and use that money to pay a couple bills and to get my licensure. And like I said, I showed up and, just was diligent and seeking a position. And from there, my team, leader at the time, who is now my team partner, she's the one that took me on. She saw me. She thought, this poor girl knows nothing about this business. And she, was just kind of starting over. Yeah. And said, hey, if you take flyers and cookies to all the schools in Albuquerque, I'll give you a job. And that's what I did. And I haven't stopped since then. So here we are.
I love it. Flowers and cookies. What
flyers.
Was the
it was for Homes for Heroes. Yeah. Yep. So I busted into all the schools and we didn't get one lead from it, but I'm still working with her 10 years later. So here we are.
Well, you showed the initiative, right?
Yeah.
You showed up, you did what you said you were going to do. And a lot of people won't, right? It's a cumbersome job, right? To go out there and do things face to face and beat the streets, right?
She put me to the streets. I'll tell you, I went to fire stations. I went to realtor's office. Within my first week of being hired, I had a credit card and cookies and I went everywhere with them. So, yeah.
I love it. I love it. So, how long ago was that? When did you jump in?
I started with my company 10 years ago, May 15th this year. So it'll be my 10th year in business in just a couple of months.
Just short of a decade.
Yep.
And it sounds like it's been a great decade for you.
It has. I mean, it's been all the things. It's been good, it's been bad, it's been up and down and all around. I mean, our industry is not linear. It's a roller coaster and I've been riding on
Yeah.
it for 10 years. So yes.
Well, you must love something about it because you just keep getting back on,
It's
right?
kind of addicting. I think we can all say that. The challenges are real, but the victories supersede that. And it's just, that when you've done this long enough, there's a rite of passage in the hardships of what we do and helping our clients. But it is something that um, I'm really, I guess, in a healthy way addicted to, because I love what we do. No matter how hard it gets and all the changes and shifts, I still love helping people. I love that success line, just getting those smiles at closing and all the things that come with it.
Right. Right. Well, and you mentioned 2015, not a bad year in mortgage. That was actually a pretty good time. We were not, in the biggest peak, but we were definitely not in a low, as some would say right now. I don't know that you can say it because just in case you guys are wondering, it's March 14th, 2025. And there's some people in this industry that are not having great success. But Chastity, that's not you, right? You're out there getting it done every day.
Yeah, thank you. And I work with a great team. I'm very blessed because the team that I work with, we're all committed. We've worked together a very long time. So it takes that village to raise the success that we see.
Well, you're still in my tagline, which is we're better together,
Yeah.
right? We're better together when we've got, a team behind us, because we can go at it alone and we can get far alone, but we can get further with a team, right? Because when something's tough, somebody else is there to pick you back up and dust you off and point you in the right direction.
Yeah. There's a proverb that actually says that says, if you want to go far, go together. If you want to go fast, go alone. So there you
That's
have it.
it.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. I love it. So you joined a team 10 years ago. Things must be working out because you're still there.
Yes.
And were you guys always part of Guild? Was that you've been
Yes.
with Guild
Yep.
the whole time?
We've been
Yeah.
with Guild for my team partner has been there 12 years. I've been there 10, and I've never worked anywhere else. So it's all I know. And there's a lot of great opportunity with that. And so yeah, even our loan officer assistants, our transaction coordinators, we've all been working together a very long time. So we kind of have that very well-oiled machine that everyone works so hard to get, that now we're just
Yeah.
pushing the limits now.
That's great. And you guys are all leads provided, right? They give you all your leads?
No, no, of course not. I mean, we have to fight very hard for our leads. It's those calls, those meetings,
Yeah.
those likes, comments, and shares, as everyone says, which, I mean, all of that. You have to do all the things all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I knew that, that's why I asked. And,
I love, like, do they have companies that do that? What?
well, they do, right?
Yeah.
Right now, I think they're fewer and farther between. But that's a whole different industry, and it doesn't pay as well in years
Yeah.
like this one, where when you're in the retail side of things, you really have more control over your long term income, right? You can hit those peaks in the lead provided stages, but man, you have some big valleys, right? Where if you're on the retail side, you get to control your own destiny in any market, and I think that's one of the things that I admire about you, Chastity, is that you took you didn't take the easy road. You took the hard road and said, no, we're going to do this, and find our own business, right? So let's talk about that a little bit. So there's a lot of people out there that are struggling in this industry today. And, some of those people are looking for success techniques. And you talk about it like it's simple. But tell us a little bit about, like, what are you doing right now to move the needle? Like, how are you getting that business?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I know that is the harder part of our position
Mhm.
as loan officers. What I can say is why I feel we are successful is because we are consistent with our disciplines. We make the calls, we stay in front of our realtors, we provide the best customer service. So it's not like any kind of magic wand that is waved. It's kind of like anything in life, whether you want to like have a fit body or you want to be financially fit or whatever it is. I think that it's staying in front of the realtor partners that you have those relationships with, not being afraid to make those phone calls, and finding true connection and bringing your authentic vibe to the table. It's like, because we've worked together so long and we've been with the same company and we've had the same team, the realtor partners that we are finding successes with now have been 10 years in the making, and it hasn't come without hard work and determination and working nights and weekends and answering those calls and being the first to respond and all of those things. So it's, I think, why we're experiencing the success that we have, even in what we would call a tougher market with rates and, lack of inventory and all the things we faced.
Yeah. Well, it's no question about that, right? Our partners and our relationships are important. And I think that's one of the things that you're talking about is, you look at these as extensions of your business. They're real people that you care about. I have a pretty strong suspicion that you're pretty close with the people you're doing business with. Am I fairly accurate on that one?
Yeah, I mean, and it's something that has been earned. It's not given. We've had to earn that. We've had to. So, I mean, I really feel like if you're struggling for business, I mean, our phone is our moneymaker. Our social media is our moneymaker. So there's so many opportunities. Me and the team, we were at a builder event last night to celebrate their sales team because it was the award, kind of elite builder awards, right? And so we're in this room and we're networking and we're talking to all these people. And when I left, I was so excited I couldn't even sleep, because I thought, as much opportunity as we think we have with the partners that we have, it made me realize there's opportunity everywhere. There's so many people that are desperate to work with you, that want to know about your programs, that want to know how great you are, that want to, send their clients to you. And it's just that connection, picking up the phone, liking on Facebook, sending them weekly text messages, keeping them in the loop of what you offer as a team and company. And while it seems simple, it's just those disciplines and practices
That's it.
over and over and over again, like
Well,
an
it sounds like
athlete.
you're, yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree with you more. It sounds like you're very driven. Do you have a method behind that? Like, when, how often, what the frequency is, or do you just show up and it's game day and it's on?
Well, I do have some processes as a team. I like to send out weekly text messages. I think I've included you on some of them. I send
You
those
have?
to the realtor partners that we work with. I get great response. We do also have, like, of course, the automated email drips, and we can send, all of those emails at once with an engaged email. I can't say I have like a perfect method to my madness, but I try at least weekly to get, to stay in front of our realtor partners, because I send them a text about something completely unrelated to clients and referrals. And guess what I get? Oh, hey, I just wanted to let you know that I have this client. I send them a text to encourage them in their week, and I get a response, because I think what we talk about in the morning show is like, who's the last one they heard from is going to be more likely who they're going to give that
Right.
referral to. So
Staying top of mind, right?
yeah,
Staying top of mind. And I think what you're talking about is super powerful, because it's not, hey, what can I get from you? It's, hey, here is some energy to start your day. Just wanted you to know that I was thinking about you,
yeah.
right? It's how we would talk to a friend.
Exactly. And I always call realtors my friends, because they are my friends. Most of them I've known a very long time. And the fact that we can help people in real estate is a bonus. And I know that not everyone is 10 years in where they feel like they've had these long standing, authentic relationships, but you got to start somewhere. And, even if you have 1 to 5 really good realtors, nurture them, remember their birthdays, congratulate them on social media with their closings, thank them, tell the client how wonderful that realtor partner is and how lucky they are to have them. That's what they need, that's what they appreciate, and that's what creates that long-standing connection and true authentic relationship.
It's encouragement. What's funny, and I find this a lot of the times with a lot of top tier people, and including probably yourself, is they're out there doing these extraordinary things, right? But nobody ever thinks to just say, "Hey, congratulations," right? Like you're doing something special and you're making a difference. People don't always hear that. And and sometimes we have a hard time receiving it, right? Like sometimes it's hard to receive that compliment, because what I've found, Chastity, is that the people like you that are out there just that strive to be amazing at what you do, we always feel like we're not quite where we want to be, right? Like it's like, I know I could do more, I know I could do better, but when somebody takes the time to say thank you for being so awesome and for doing the great things that you do, it goes a long way, right?
Yeah, it does. And lead generation, every lead that is handed to us is a gold nugget. We
Yeah.
nurture leads, we work with them, we make sure that we're on top of following up and keeping everyone in the loop. And I think what our partners love about us is, like, sometimes, whether it's 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, 2 years, I'm able to call them and say, hey, remember so and so? Yeah, I've been working with them, they're pre-qualified now. And just being consistent with your practices, whatever it is, whether it's calling, texting, Facebook, just whatever you do it every day, and show up willing to do that with the same determination you did yesterday.
Let's talk about this. How do you follow up with the lead? How often do you follow up with the lead? Do you call it? Do you text it? Do you email it? And how often do you touch base with the client, when you do follow up?
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, there's a couple of things. If we get a hot lead, we're on it every day. We try to call leads at
Mhm.
least up to 7 times, kind of like that, within the first week. Then at
Yeah.
that point, you think, well, you might archive them or put them on a drip from there. But we're very consistent. If we can't get them on the line, we're calling them every day until we do. And because we have a team, we're all hands on deck. So that is something that we do. Now, once we get with a client and they're, like, shopping, and they have a pre-approval, we keep in touch with them at least once a week to check on a home search. And when they're under contract and process, they get updates every Tuesday by email. I call and check in, making sure that the process is going well. How's your experience? I loved on the Redder morning show where they said, like, is there anyone on our team that we need to fire? I'm going to use that
Yeah.
because,
Eddie,
so
good old Eddie Skinner. Let's give him a shout out down there in
yeah,
Houston. Yeah, great guy.
I loved
Yeah.
that. I was like, that's such a great position as a loan officer, because so we're very communicative, and we're very consistent. And so whatever
Yeah.
you do, be consistent with your disciplines. I'll say that a million times. That's what helps us, I believe.
How often do you stay in touch with your partner, your real estate partner, when you're talking to these leads, right? Let's say it's been a day, and you haven't had any communication with that client. Like, how does that look for you?
Well, what's great about our system that we work with, we're lucky to have Salesforce. So when
Mhm.
we're doing our calls and we're doing our lead generation, what's so cool is we can put a note to say six time attempts, no answer, we'll archive for now. Or spoke to her, need credit repair, we'll set a reminder in 90 days. So what we'll do is we'll put that note, and we're able to immediately update the agent. Now, if you don't have that kind of system, that's fine too. I do my best to keep them in the loop, and I always, check in weekly with everyone just to see how it's going.
Yeah.
So it's a continual thing. We don't just leave them and drop them. We have to keep in touch with them, and believe me, they keep in touch with us, especially when they're on the home search. So we're on
Well,
it.
that's a little process we call touch the lead, touch the partner, right?
Yeah.
When we're talking to the client, we need to let our partner know what's going on so that they know that we're out there doing it. I've interviewed great agents, East Coast to West Coast, and what I've found, there's a commonality out there that they typically find. And, when they have struggles with loan officers, it's because they're either not following up, right? There's not clear communication throughout the loan process. And a lot of the times it's, hey, I don't even know where my leads are. Like, I don't know. I feel like I give them something they don't get back. And with Chastity and your team, that's not the case, right?
Mhm.
Like, they know you're on it, you're all over it. They are seeing the updates, and they're getting weekly phone calls and weekly updates. That's what changes the business. Let me tell you something. I said this, on a podcast, I think a little over a week ago. When you're playing the game with these top tier agents out there in the market today, these agents get up at 4 o'clock in the morning sometimes. They work until 1 a.m. When they're on vacation, they're writing contracts on the go all the time, right? And when you transition business to them, they expect, that you're going to give them that same type of work ethic in return. So, if you're out there and you think that you can get away with not working on the level that Chastity's working, you're in the wrong business, right? Because this is what people are doing out there to get it done right now. There's a reason why Chastity's having success. You hear it. There's a method to the process, and the agents don't have to question. They give her business, it's going to get taken care of, and they're going to know exactly where it's at.
Right. Yeah. And I forget who said on the Redder show, I wish I could remember his name, but he said recently, and I don't know if you're there, it said that he's working 7 days a week and nights and weekends right now because he feels like it is the most important time. And I'm kind of in that mode. I'm kind of in that gruel grind mode, that the time is now. The time is now. So maybe we don't always have to work 7 days a week, but right now that's what we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we got to do what it takes, It's a
Yeah.
do it what it takes industry. Another thing I always say is, Vegas may be the city that never sleeps, but real estate is the industry that never sleeps,
That
right?
is, that 100% to be true. I mean, we
Yeah,
all know
you got
that.
to be ready to go. But I think that's one of the things that you love about it. I get the feeling that you love the thrill of the hunt, right?
Unfortunately, yeah, I do. I mean, of course, I need to work on my own work-life balance. I don't think that working 7 days a week is necessarily healthy. But I think the point of that is that while people are sleeping, while people
Yeah.
are saying excuses like, oh, it's a bad time, oh, I'm slow because of rates, or I'm slow because of this. No, the time is now. The loan
Yeah.
officers that are working and that are really.
That's right. Yeah. Well, and I think you're right. It comes in waves too, because there's some years where you don't have to power through it quite that hard, right? And not that we shouldn't, right? We should always be at the top of our game. But I think we had this saying a couple years back, when the tide washed out, we were all swimming naked, and we realized, where our deficiencies were in our business. Because if you go back to 2022, 2021, we were drinking through a fire hose, and it got almost too easy. It was almost like it was too easy, right? It was one of those situations where it was just a feeding frenzy, and people got they got a little bit relaxed in their processes. And we found, once that tide washed up, who was out there swimming naked and who was actually doing the work, right? And that's what we see today. I mean, we're in an industry where I think it's like 60%, it may be more than that, of loan originators have exited this industry, right? The ones that are left, they're great at what they do. And Chastity, you're one of the standing survivors, and there's a reason for it, right? There's a reason for it. And it's because you're out there putting in the work, and your customers, your agents, they get the benefits of everything that you guys are doing. So, yeah, I love talking to folks like you because it's just exciting, right? I think that's why we get on that Redder Morning Show every day. We get energy from like-minded people across the United States, and we're there because we take our business seriously, right? This is not something that we sleep on. We take it very seriously, and I admire that about you as well.
Well, I love the morning reading, the Rudder Show, because I've been able to meet people like you, and I love that we're all from different parts of the country. We're all from different companies, but we're all there, like you said, with the same goal. I leave every day with a nugget, and I will absolutely attest to that morning show. The 30 minutes I spend every day with you guys, to being, a part of our success. The things that I've, adopted in my business plan, the things that I've shared with our team. So I love that, because I always leave with something I can use in my business. And here we are, I've applied it, and then we're making it work.
Empowerment, but at the same time taking action. That's one of my number one core values, because I see a lot of folks out there, they get great ideas and they never do anything with it. But when you take that idea and you turn it into a process immediately, right? Big things happen inside of your business. And I see you as a doer, right? You're an action taker.
Yeah.
So,
And I think it's
yeah.
important what you do as salespeople, or like, I have ADHD. So I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. That's a great idea. And I learned that if I don't fine tune and focus on 1 to 3 things that I absolutely love, that is a hell yes for me to do in my business, it doesn't matter if you try to think about 10 things to do. Even if you did one thing
That's it.
consistently that you loved, that applied to your business, that's all you need, and build from there. But be that doer, not a sayer, right? Like last
That's
night,
so wise.
we met a
Yeah.
lot of builders, and we talked about this. And what did I do? I made a list so that I don't forget the conversations we have. So I'm
Yeah.
going to call them and get those things on paper and into plan, because otherwise it's just a conversation at a networking event.
That's it. It doesn't go
Yeah.
anywhere. It doesn't. I love that you brought that up. It's such great advice. I had a gentleman that jumped on earlier today. We just, hey, can I take a little bit of your time? And like we've talked about, Jesse, you and I've had similar conversations. Yeah, of course, right? Again, I'm here about empowering others. Obviously, I got to be there to support my team, but at the same time, if I can help others in this industry that want to get out there and get it done, I will. And he jumped on the calendar. And he's like, okay, so I've got some questions. And I think we were 10 questions deep. And he's like, so, do I go out and do this? Do I go 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 do this? I go do this. And I said, here's the deal. First off, pick one, master that, then move on to the next. Right. And, you know, the problem is he's got all these brilliant ideas. And let me tell you something, every single thing on his list was something you absolutely should be doing inside of your business. The problem is exactly what you said, Chastity. You can't take 10 things and execute them all at once, right? You've got to take it off in bite-sized chunks and effectively master one and then move on to the next and master the other and move on to the next. He has the basics down, right? The basics are already there. He knows how to put loans together. He's closing loans. He's got agents. So the business model is there, but he wants to just expand. And without having 15 people to accomplish each one of these things, he's got to do one at a time. And then eventually he gets that one done. And this is part of his process. And then you move to the next one and you start that up. And then you start hiring people and you build a team out from underneath you and you launch that. So I love that you said that, right? Like, you know, take the information, but don't try to start too many projects, because I've seen a lot of those loan officers out there that literally will try to bite off all these different things. They go, but I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and they get nothing accomplished, right? Take the one that's going to move the needle the most, the fastest, implement that, then move on to the next piece.
Exactly. I love that.
Killer, killer, killer. So what's some great advice that a all-star player like yourself can give to? Oh no, no question about it, Chastity. Yeah, that can.
Yeah. I would say, I mean, if you're struggling, and I know it sounds coachy, but mindset is everything. You know, I mean, really, we have to decide every day when we wake up, no matter how we feel, that we're going to have a successful day, that we're going to find something in our business to be excited about. And I feel like the one piece of advice would be to be very, very diligent with your lead tracking. When you do get leads, nurture them, make sure you don't leave them hanging, you know, make sure you make up to the 7-10 calls. However, you know, exhaust all options with that, so that you create every opportunity for yourself. And I think another thing is be authentically you. You know, I'm just learning to embrace this, you know, and it's like I've always had this imposter syndrome. You know, it doesn't have to be special. You're special enough. You're your own unique gift. So just being diligent with your practices, even if you get 1 lead or 100 leads, make sure that you're doing the very best you can with all of those opportunities. Be authentically you. Do the things that you love. Attract the people that you want to work with, and be disciplined in your practices. People who are successful are making the calls, they're scheduling the meetings, they're doing the lunch and learns, they're calling their leads up to 10 times, 20 times. They are doing all the things, and they do it all the time. So waking up with the mindset that you will have a successful day, that you will be disciplined, you will do everything you can to build your business in the most positive way. And I love the quote, and I'm going to tell you, it's that J.J. Watt: success is not owned, it is leased, and rent is due every day. And reminding yourself that you have to show up ready to go. No matter what you did yesterday, it doesn't matter. It's what you do right now today. So
I
hopefully
love your
that's good
affirmation.
advice.
I love your affirmations. I have a feeling you might say that to yourself every single day.
I have to, because I'm like, but why do I have to do it today? I just did it yesterday. I did it last week, 10 years ago. It does not matter. Rent is due again today. Literally.
But it is. It is every single day. And that's,
Yeah.
I would tell people, success is not sexy, right?
It's not.
It's not at all. You know, when some people go, man, I wish I was like them, man, just spend a day in their shoes and realize you could be like them, but it's going to take a whole lot of work to get there. And if you're willing to sacrifice what it takes to make that happen, you will have that success, but you're going to have to do it. And, you know, I love what you said about mindset, right? Mindset is so important because, you know, motivation comes and goes. Like motivation comes and goes, but mindset and daily disciplines, those are things that are going to move the needle in anybody's life, right? Whether it's in a business or, you know, in a success plan to shed something that you know you shouldn't be doing, right? You've got to have the right mindset about it, and you've got to have the discipline to tell yourself, no, this is what we're doing, period. It doesn't matter. It's a non-negotiable. You know, it's funny, Chastity, I've got some non-negotiables, you know, and 2 of them are just being on the Redder Morning Show and being on the Breakfast Club call. Unless I have something that absolutely takes me away, I've got to be there, right? And I literally, like, I'll get up in the morning and I get the kids ready, and if we're running even a minute behind, I'm like, guys, we gotta go. I love you, but we gotta get in the car. Dad's got to be on the show. Dad has to be there, because for me, that's a discipline and it's a non-negotiable. And if you start with little things like that, right? And eventually you start adding these other pieces to it. You're going to build something amazing, and you're going to look back and go, man, look at who I've become, right? I started here, and this is where I am now. And I know you share that. We've talked about this before, right? You were somebody completely different. Look who you are today, Chastity. Like, look who you've become.
I'm
It's
actually proud of
amazing.
myself right now. I really
Should
am,
be.
because I look back in my life and all the things I could have been. I was a high school dropout. I didn't grow up with money. I had
Yeah.
3 jobs my entire life until I started the mortgage industry, and I always was on the struggle. And looking at our business, yeah, it took me 10 years to work with our team and getting here, and it doesn't always have to take you 10 years, but yeah, I here we are. So now I know what works. Now I know what I have to keep doing. And if I can help anyone and encourage them, just keep doing the things. Keep doing the money making activities no matter what happens. I promise you, when you look up one day, that farm that you planted are going to be blooms of clients and closings. I promise you.
Well, that's it. And I'm going to leave with this because that was an amazing piece of advice. But let's give them one more. So, if you had to take a time machine back to when you first got started and you could tell yourself this one thing, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good one. I will say, if I knew anything that I would have to go through, I would have never started. So thank God for the protection of not knowing, because it's hard. If I could tell myself one thing, it never gets easier, but it's always worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. So just put in the work.
Yeah. I mean, it
Put in
just
the
is
work.
what it is, that industry, it is that business.
Yeah.
People who are successful work for it. And,
That's it.
it's just that the simple practices, the simple disciplines that end up, 10 years later, where you could look and actually say you're proud of yourself.
Yeah. Give me any overnight success and I'll show you the real story. Right.
Right. Exactly.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah. It doesn't.
Doesn't exist. Maybe Hawk Tua. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. I think
Is
she's
that a
already
real
off,
success
though.
though?
My goodness. I'll tell you what. I'm waiting for my
there's,
viral
there's some
moment. Hopefully
outliers.
it'll happen soon. We'll see.
Yeah, there's some outliers, right? But that's not real success. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. At the end of the day, you got lucky.
Yeah.
But
That's a
no,
fad. It'll
yeah, it's a
fade,
fad.
but yeah.
Exactly. So, well, when the folks out there want to find you, Chastity, how do they find you? How do you get in touch with you?
Well, I think my phone is always on me. So my number is, my cell phone is always the best. It's 505-506-8396. Whether you're a client, whether you're a loan officer, real estate agent. I mean, I'm always here to help, like you, Devin. I will give my time to anyone who needs it, because I feel like, it's not about what you get, it's about what you give. And when you give, it just kind of, you attract abundance when you
That's
give
it.
without any expectations. So yeah.
Pour into the cup, right?
Yeah,
Pour
exactly.
into the cup. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I admire you, Chastity. I admire your drive and your passion, and that's why I wanted to do this podcast with you and spotlight you. You're doing amazing things out there, and folks, if you're looking at doing business, if you're looking for somebody to trust with your mortgage, what states are you in? Just
Well, we're
New Mexico.
licensed across the country as a company, but our team is licensed in New Mexico, Texas, and Colorado. So we have at least
There you
our
go.
surrounding states covered.
So if you want to work with her directly, New Mexico, Texas, and Colorado, stay out of Texas.
Oh yeah.
JK,
We do most of
we
our
got plenty of room.
business in New Mexico, but it's nice with those bordering states, because sometimes our clients are moving to those bordering states, so we're able to help them as well.
That's
So
right.
yeah.
No, we got plenty of room here in
Yeah,
Texas.
exactly.
We got plenty of love for you. So if you're looking at doing business out here, you want to help with a home transaction, just want to work with an absolute expert in the industry, reach out to Chastity. And if you're an agent and your loan officer's not doing what this girl's doing and her team's doing, give her a call, because I promise you, you're going to be very happy. Maybe it's time to fire that lender and hire a new one.
Devin, yes, I received that. Yes.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you again, Chastity, for taking the time. And maybe have to do one again sometime in the near future.
I would love that. This has been awesome. I've never been on a podcast before. I'm super grateful that you thought of me, Devin, and I'm really grateful for the relationship that I'm building with you, and thank you for your support and for the morning show. It's really changed my life. It really has, 100%.
That's awesome. We'll check that off the bucket list. Podcast has been accomplished.
We did it.
We did it. And if you're listening in, man, I'm sure you just had a great ride. So, thanks for stopping back in. This is Loan Officer Success Partner. I'm Devin Dubuc. Hey, and if you want to check us out, come on over to the Homes Begin Here Network. We're on the Homes Begin Here Network on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, website, you name it. We're all over the place. And, if you like, comment, subscribe. Send this to a friend, right? If you've got somebody out there that needs to hear what Chastity had to say today, hey, spread the word, right? Because that's what we're all about. And if you want to talk to me, just comment or reach out. I'm sure I've got a link in there somewhere that can get you back to me. So until the next time, we'll see you then.